Hey guys. So, um, you know what I just noticed is that I was just watching a video and someone in the video is about composing music or something like that, and someone in the comments said something like how Mozart started to play acceptable music before he was able to walk, and how a genius he was. And I noticed that I've always felt that hearing those kinds of stories from people like Mozart made me feel like I can never be special. I can never be famous. I can never be successful because I didn't. I wasn't special when I was a child, like Mozart was. You know, stuff like that. Like I didn't go to study study college in the U.S. like other uh, geniuses were, or like I didn't drop out like Mark Zuckerberg did, and stuff like that. That I didn't do with that special guy that everybody knows, like Elon Musk did, or like Steve Jobs did. So because I don't mimic their stories, it makes me feel like I will never be like them. I'll never be special or famous or successful or a prodigy, I think, or whatever. I felt that hearing those kinds of stories, they make me feel like I'm a lost cause because my story doesn't fit in with any of them. That in the realm of special stories of special people, my story doesn't fit there. My character doesn't fit there. So obviously, there's no chance for me to be like them. But you know what I just realized then is that if you think that way, well, not necessarily, but if you think that because your story doesn't fit in the set of special stories or special people's stories, uh, if you think that your story not fitting there means that you will never be in that set, uh, then you will probably never be in that set. Because you see, the thing that made them in that set is that they weren't like one of the people in that set. So Elon Musk's story before he became famous and well known and successful, his story didn't fit in any of the existing people's set. Sorry, in the existing stories in that set. His story was different, and that was a big factor in what allowed him to actually be in what allowed him to actually be in that set. If your story is like Mozart, you will never be in that special set of special stories that everybody knows and everybody talks about, and people use them as inspiration for them and motivation for them. Because, okay, so you can think of it as if your story is like is like Elon Musk in some ways, then you're competing with Elon Musk. You can think of it that way, although that's not the best way to think about it, which of course you're gonna lose that competition most likely. Not necessarily though, but most likely. But a better way is that I personally think of it as every human being, and I mean every single individual human being, is perfectly unique. There are no two humans that are alike. I mean, they're similar, they share shit in common, but they're not the same. They are very, very different, and each one is equally unique, equally special, and equally um, and has equal potential. Now, you might not think of yourself as someone with potential like Mozart, obviously, but that's just not true. Now, that's just not true. You have as much potential, and your story can be as impactful and inspiring as Steve Jobs was, uh, as Henry Ford was, and so on. So, what you can do is to be as much yourself as you can, because that's the best way to contribute to inspiring stories. That's the best way. If you're trying to be someone you're not, you will never succeed, ever. And you will never get people to see you as an inspiring entity because you're being fake. You're not being true. You're not being someone that they can learn from, because everyone in many levels, they're trying to be themselves, but they have difficulty doing that. And if they see someone else being themselves and succeeding, and they're being themselves and proud of not mimicking someone else, that is an inspiring sight. Um, and so like I look at myself, I look at my story, I see I'm now 22 years old, I'm almost 23. I've done nothing special. Like Elon Musk did special things as a child. He was naturally curious, he did some science stuff as a kid, I think. If you take a look at Mozart, he was a genius, a genius musician from a very, very young age. So I'm 22 and I have nothing to show for it. So obviously, what hope do I have, me, to be a very inspiring story, a very motivating person for other people that try to be like me? That's never gonna happen, right? Obviously, I mean, yeah, the best I can is like be somewhat successful, maybe a millionaire, but I'm never gonna be like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs. Come on, if I die, it's not gonna be millions of people around the world tearing up for my death and saying and posting in social media, "Rest in peace, Mshari," right? That's not gonna happen. That's not necessarily true, because if you think about it, everything is possible. Like, um, it's very possible for a story. I mean, if no, it's a possibility for my future to be like this. I turned 25. I travel the world for say 2 or 3 years. I explore the different cultures, the different societies, the different peoples, the different religions, the different ways of seeing the world, the different perspectives. I learned to play the music and write stories throughout this period of my life. And at the same time, I'm doing business, and I have my own business going, and I have business connections, and I'm building technology at the same time. So I'm learning different things. I'm implementing different things. So this period of my life can be like an apprenticeship of life. Like I'm learning the ropes of life. I'm implementing things. I'm seeing different things. I'm trying new things. I'm exploring myself. I'm exploring the world. I'm exploring humanity, right? And that part of my life can be part of my story that people learn from, to see that they need to explore, and then they'll know their place, and then they'll know what kind of a person they are in this world, where they belong to, just as I will. uh, and and they can look at this part of my life as they look at, let's say, Elon Musk's life when he was I don't remember his age, but when he moved out of South Africa to Canada, and then from Canada to the U.S. I look at this part of his life as a, like, he was exploring, he was throwing himself out of his comfort zone, he was testing the waters of business and building his own companies and shit like that. So it's possible to see someone, I mean, to see my story in the future as like I had a terrible life for 25 years, and then I sprouted out of that in an insanely fast pace that, that is mind blow for everyone reading a biography on me. I hope this is making as much sense to you as it is in my head. I doubt it, but I really hope so. Because I struggle to find the words to articulate the imagination I have in my head right now, which is that it is possible for my life to go from where it is now to a point that is inspiring, that is motivating for people, just as like Elon Musk story or Steve Jobs story, just as those kind of big people that everyone wants to be like. It's possible for my story to turn out like that, in a way that has never been done in the past. I mean, it's not, as far as I know, there's no story that someone became in their mid 20s and then started to live life and ballooned out of that and just, I don't know, took over the world, so to speak. As far as I know, there's no story like that. If there is, I didn't read it yet, so I wouldn't know. But I'm saying my whole point here is that what seems impossible to you is not impossible in this regard. I'm talking about this regard where you grow in a way and you change yourself and your image and your story in such a way that you thought was impossible because you know it's never been done before, or at least you don't know of a story that is like that. So you think of Elon Musk as a character, a persona that started started to that began as it is now in his childhood, and you think the same of Steve Jobs, and you think the same of Mozart and Henry Ford and all those big people. You think of them as like they started this special journey we all know and love from a very young age. And if you didn't start the same way, you're never gonna be like them. My point to this video is that is not true. That's just not true because you never know what can happen, and it's very important to recognize that there's no impossibilities. It's very, very possible. What you think right now is impossible for you to do and to make happen is possible. It's as possible as you think it's not possible. It's possible. And so just keep in mind that your story can change. It can be what it can be what you want it to be. And so I went all over the place here. My words are not making sense right now, but my point here, I mean, what I'm advising you in this video is just focus on being yourself, as much you deep down as you truly are. And you will sense if you're deviating from your true inner self, if you're misaligning with your soul. And that is important. Be yourself. Do what you like to do, because I mean, follow your natural inclinations. That's where you want to go, and that's where you can be the most successful and the most impactful and the most inspiring. Any deviation from that will always work against you. Maybe not in the very short term, but in the bigger picture, it will work against you. And just keep in mind that there's no limit. The only limit there is the one you set for yourself. But there's no limit, there's no roof, there's no ceiling to how far you can go if only you allow yourself. I mean, I'm never gonna be an Elon Musk if I keep thinking of myself as someone who wants to be like Elon Musk, or if I keep thinking of myself, or if I keep thinking to myself that I want to be like Steve Jobs, or I want to be like that guy. No, be yourself and be the best version of you can possibly be. It's very cliche what I just said, and I hope that doesn't ruin the message for you. But it's very true. Don't set any kind of a limit for yourself. No ceilings anywhere. Keep in mind that it is all possible. I'm saying the same things over and over again here because I'm trying to find the right words, but I'm not finding the right words. But it is generally the same meaning, which is that. So in my case right now, I'm almost 23 right now, and I have done nothing that I'm proud of. I have explored none of the world. I've seen nothing, and there's nothing in my story so far that hints at great success in any way, in any form, at all. But I can turn that around. I can, and hopefully I will. I will definitely attempt to. I can't promise that I'll succeed in that attempt, but it is possible. There's nothing impossible. It is possible, and I will do my very best or die trying to make that turnaround happen. Yeah, so I mean, it's very possible that I'll read so much, I'll work so much, I'll explore so much, so rapidly, so fast, that this period of growth that I will undergo acts as an inspiring proof for everyone that they can do more faster than they think they can. Maybe that's a possibility. I'm not saying that it's not possible or that it's gonna happen. It's possible, and I'm gonna attempt to do that. I'm running out of time. I have only 15 minutes of video, so I hope you guys understood the message I was trying to convey here. Thank you for watching.